So good morning. I'm going to be talking in this direction. I know y'all will watch them from that direction, but I have actual live people this way, so I'm going to talk this way. This is Pumpkin Patch Orientation 2020, a little different than 2019 and all the years before, right? I want to give you some information about who we work with and who we work for, and then talk a little bit about the logistics of the patch this year. So we work with an organization called Pumpkins USA. They began fundraisers back in 1974 in North Carolina, and our pumpkins actually are grown in New Mexico. After Hurricane Hugo, they moved their patch there. And what happens is we get the pumpkins basically on consignment. So they're entrusting us with them. We don't pay in advance. We only pay after we sell them. And so because of that, we have a great deal of respect for our relationship. And we can't discount pumpkins. You know, people ask us all the time, but I'm going to buy 100, can you discount it? They're not ours to discount, so we can't. We work with another organization, and they actually work with over 700 Native Americans in New Mexico. So this is one of those all good all the time things. You know, we benefit, they benefit, and then some good cultural benefits. We work with other organizations throughout our patch. So the church next door, St. Mark, is gracious enough to give us a tent every year as a gift. And they also have youth and their men's club who come and volunteer with us. We have local youths and school groups and clubs and community organizations. So this is not just about us. It's about being really a big part of the community around us. So who do we work for? Anybody have a guess? God. We are first and foremost a church. And our primary focus is not really about selling the pumpkins, although that's nice when it happens. We're not trying to be fundraisers. We're trying to be a presence in the community. We're trying to represent Jesus and the love of God and let that light shine in each home that brings home a pumpkin. We have all kinds of fun patch stories. Some of you have heard these before. We've had marriage proposals in the patch. Somebody carved, "Will you marry me?" in a pumpkin, and then led the woman around until she found that one. We've had all kinds of interesting stories and very touching moments. I had a man who came, a grandpa, and he came with all the grandkids and kids, and he asked if he could come sit with me, and as he sat, I noticed he had a Star of David on. And he says to me, "Do you mind, will you pray with me?" And I said, "Sure." Well, it turns out he was in his last probably 2 weeks of living from cancer, and he didn't want to share that with the family because he wanted this last special gathering for them because it was so important for them. So it's an important place to be, and that's really the reason we decided to hold it this year. You know, it is going to be a little trickier with COVID guidelines and, you know, trying to keep each other safe. But we really wanted the community to be able to have that touchstone, you know, that normal piece of what we all share together. Right now it's so hard to share anything. You know, we aren't able to even be in a room together often. And so to be safe and be outside and get to do some of these normal things, take pictures of your baby sitting in a pumpkin, you know, or your kids all dressed up for Halloween. We wanted to make sure to really have that happen this year. So we need people to work the patch. Some of the things you might do, help us with the children's events, just corralling them really. The teachers are responsible for them, but to have extra bodies, you know, to make sure that they don't run off. Smile, take pictures. We usually try to carry people's pumpkins. This year that is probably not a good option. Let people carry their own. If you do decide to be helpful, hand sanitize immediately afterwards. Keep yourself safe. We have to have people clean out all the yucky pumpkins. We get them out of the way. We have to direct people to the payment areas. And really we're just there to be a presence and to be a witness. So some of the changes this year, we have some guidelines from the patch people. I want you to see how teeny tiny this writing is, so bear with me. Charlie, our pumpkin guy, is coming this year. Thank you, Lord, and thank you, Charlie. Charlie is a volunteer who gives up his whole month of October to stay here and to man our patch for us. So he will be the kind of key person out there. We have already ordered sneeze guards. For those of you who are taking money, we are trying to lean people toward credit card purchases so that you're not handling cash. And we do have a point of sale system that St. Mark has graciously allowed us to use again this year. So if you're somebody who's going to come and take the money, you will learn how to do it at the patch. There'll be someone there who can teach you how to do that. We are making sure to wear face masks. Yes, we're outside, but still, you know, we're trying to be as safe as possible. Love your neighbor, right? Don't breathe on them. We want to make sure that we're going to have plenty of hand sanitizers out there. We want to limit contact. So when we unload the pumpkin trucks, we're going to have to make sure that if you're in the truck, you have on your mask. And we would like it to be family groups so that, you know, if a family of 3 can go in the truck, you all are exposed to each other already anyway, so we're not risking exposure for somebody else. There probably will come a time when there's more than just a few people in the truck, and so you're going to have to just protect each other. We will not be doing, we usually stand in a line and hand a pumpkin down the line. We will not be doing that this year. This year we will move the pumpkins to the back of the truck, and you will come up and take one and go put it somewhere. Or if your family has a wheelbarrow, we'll fill your wheelbarrow and you go off with your family and you unload on a pallet. Or a pickup truck. We'll, you know, load the pickup truck and take a group of youth over to do that. So it is going to look a little different. It's probably going to take a little longer to unload the trucks. Families with children, we want to make sure that they are staying together in the patch. You know, so part of our job now is going to be, again, protecting each other. We're going to have to make sure that the rows are a little wider. We need to decide if we want to do one-way directional signs. That's probably what it's going to look like, so that people aren't right together next to the pumpkins. Make sure you're using hand sanitizer. Make sure that you're washing your hands. We will remind people that if they're going to cook with these, make sure you wash it first, you know, things like that. We will have signs up that say, you know, if you're not feeling well, please don't shop here today. And we will not be taking temperatures. We are not medical staff. You know, we're going to just have to ask people, you know, please stay home if you don't feel well. So I'm going to wrap up this part. We're going to wrap up the video part, and then I'm going to answer any questions. If I discover that there's questions you should have heard the answers to, we'll make sure you get those on the YouTube. So thank you for joining us, and I hope that was brief enough and you heard everything you need to hear.